Good evening, everybody. Just doing a little sound check, and we'll get started in a couple of minutes. Bethany, I saw that you're on there. Can you say something so I know if I hear you? Okay, stand by a minute on that, because I am playing with the control panel here. All right, guys. I just put something into the chat box. Can you take a peek and see if you see it? Can you hear me?
Right now. Oh, hello?
Another minute or two of patience, everyone. All right, guys. We're going to try and get this going here. I am double checking. I can now see your chat. I just want to make sure that my chat box across the front of the slideshow is not interfering with you. If nobody has any problems, we are going to get moving. Thank you, Chad. I appreciate that response. All right, good evening, USJC. My name is Jennifer Mansfield. I'm the 2016 Program Manager of the Passport to Civic Leadership Program. Tonight, I'm going to go over some basics of this program as far as what it is, how to get started, how to get signed up. And we'll start with the general member. As we progress through towards the end of it, I will be addressing specifically local chapter presidents, state chapter presidents, and also the state program managers for this program. So let's talk about what is the Passport to Leadership Program. The JCs define the Passport Civic Leadership Program as a method to activate and engage members. More importantly, I see the Passport program as being designed to assist and encourage each member to reach their personal and professional goals. This program is not just about how to be a good JC. Passport is a list of specific tasks for each member to check off on their journey to what is going to be called the 10th degree. So let's talk a little bit about how the Passport program works. First of all, it's a checklist. Everybody loves checklists. It makes them feel accomplished just to hit that box and say they accomplished a certain item. Our Passport list consists of groups of 4 to 5 tasks depending on the particular level, and these levels are called degrees. A degree is what we actually use to recognize the accomplishment of each JC in this program. For instance, a 5th degree JC is a member who has completed all of the tasks in each degree leading up to and including 5th degree. I know that's a lot for those of you who have never seen this program, but we're going to step into it. So, your goal in the Passport to Leadership program is to become a 10th degree JC and be recognized nationally and in some cases internationally. So we're going to get started on how this program works. The Passport to Leadership program is hosted by the Jaycee Member website. I know that some of us have some issues with Jaycee Member, but the USJCs have been working really hard to get it cleaned up and make sure everything runs smoothly. If you're not a member Jaycee Member yet, don't worry, we're going to get that fixed. So, to get started, we are going to go ahead and go to jayceemember.com. Okay? Once you log into jayceemember.com, you are going to see a login screen just like the one you see here. All right? And if you're not following along right now, don't worry about it. This webinar and my my PowerPoint presentation will be available to everybody. All right? So, if you're a member already of Jaycee Member, go ahead and enter your username and password. Let's get you logged in. If you're not a member yet, or if you are a member, please be patient while I get everybody else caught up, okay? So here comes the fun part. If you are not a member yet, down on the left side of your screen in Jaycee Member, click on that Set Up New Login button. The next screen that you should see is going to be the login setup. From there, you need to enter the email address that you used when you signed up for the JCs. Back in the day, this used to be a pain because we would all forget about it, but now that we're doing all of our registrations online, you must sign up with your email address. This is the one you're going to use. If for some reason you don't remember what it is, that's not a problem. Your local chapter president should be able to get it for you pretty easily. If you're a local chapter president on here, I'll help you out. Next, when you enter that email address, you are going to be sent an email to that email address. Yes, I know it sounds redundant, so I want to make sure everybody follows along. In that email, you're going to find a link. Click on that link, and it's going to take you to a new screen where you get to create your user ID as well as a password. Your user ID can be anything from the email address or just your first initial and last name, unless, of course, you're a Smith or a Johnson or something very simple. Okay? Give everybody a second in case that's what they're doing. But once you get your login and your password, we are going to log into Jaycee Member, and we are all now caught up to the exact same spot. Time to get into the actual Passport program. When you log into Jaycee Member, you should see this profile page pop up. If it's not very specific, on that green bar, click the My Profile button. As you look at this screen, down on the bottom left, you are going to see your Passport to Civic Leadership button. Let's click it and move on. This is what's going to pop up for you. This is your list of tasks to be completed in each degree. Remember earlier in the PowerPoint, I talked about there being 4 to 5 tasks that need to be completed in each degree. Take note at how simple these in the first degree are. I'm guaranteeing you virtually everybody on this call right now is already a first degree. And if you were to scroll down more, you're probably a second and approaching your third. Okay? So what you would do is you would check off each of these boxes that you see as you complete them. So if you've attended 50% of the meetings so far, which essentially means 1 at this point, you can check that off. If you've already attended your new member orientation, check that off. If you've been to a project or an event, check it off. You see what I said, everybody's probably already a first degree. Now, after you check them, don't forget to hit the Submit button. If you don't hit Submit, they do not count, and you're going to have to go back and do it again. Not that it's a major malfunction, but we're trying to make this as simple as possible. Now, your local chapter president has to actually approve your submissions, okay? But here's the fun part, just so you know. Every time you click the Submit button, your chapter president is going to get an email notifying him or her that he has a new Passport approval. So it's really a lot of fun to make your president's phone or his email just ding like crazy, all right? Once he or she has in fact approved them, this is what your tasks are going to start looking like. Once there's no check boxes next to the task anymore, you know that you have already completed that task. So in this particular image, all of the tasks in first degree have been completed. Now here's an important thing to note. You do not need to complete the tasks in order. That means you can complete tasks within the same degree in a different order. You can complete tasks within different degrees. You can complete them in 1 and 5 and 7, but not do 2 and 3. It doesn't matter what order. But what is important is all the tasks within a specific degree level must be completed within the same calendar year. That really becomes more important into the later degrees, because in the earlier ones, odds are if you're active, you're going to be doing the same tasks over and over again. Okay? You will only be recognized as a level degree in which you have completed all of the tasks within that degree and below it. So if you've completed all the tasks in 1, all the tasks in 2, 2 of the tasks in the 3rd degree, and 4, no, all of the degrees even, in 4th degree, you will still only be a 2nd degree JC because you had not yet completed everything in the 3rd degree. Okay? Hopefully that's pretty clear. So, let's talk a little bit about what the Passport program can do for you. Take a look at some of these pictures. I mentioned earlier that this program is much more than how to be an active JC. This program is about how to build a better you, how to make your professional skills and your confidence levels grow. These images depict different skills and different experiences that you may encounter along your way. Anything from giving a presentation at work, public speaking, networking, team building, group work here. We've got a partnership, maybe talking with your boss up on the top right. These are all skills that are going to make your day better. Some of these tasks may force you to face a personal fear. I use public speaking as an example because there's many of us that cannot even tolerate the idea of standing up in front of people and giving a presentation or just giving a speech. One of the tasks within the Passport program is participating in a Jaycee competition. One of those competitions is called Speak Up. This gives you a safe area to test out your public speaking. Gives you the opportunity to face all of those people staring at you and know that most of those people there are your friends. It makes that first experience that much easier. Some of the tasks will challenge you to step outside of your comfort zone. Some of the best examples I can give with this is at one point in time to complete your 10th degree, you're going to need to meet with some of your local officials, whether that be a township supervisor, city council, a mayor, perhaps a fire chief, a police chief. Some people don't feel comfortable talking to quote-unquote important people. This is going to make you take that chance and have a chat with them in order to accomplish your goals. There's also the simple fact that completing these tasks will not only build confidence within yourself. Watching you grow on your journey through the 10th degree is going to give other people confidence and respect in you and the abilities that they are watching you develop. This is a huge, huge step. So as I mentioned, your success in this Passport program does not just make you a better Jaycee, but it makes you a more well-rounded person. Your local chapter also benefits greatly from your activities here. As you get stronger and more confident, you become a better leader yourself. You start leading committees. You start being a trainer at different projects. You can now mentor newer Jaycees as they come along. This is important. All right. My partner over here is telling me he thinks he may be able to unmute you guys when we're ready to go to questions, which should be shortly. We'll see. All right. So as you move along in your degrees, there's a recognition program. Because let's be honest, everybody likes a little pat on the back for something they've accomplished and a job well done. They also want to see how they've grown. In the Jaycees, each local and state organization may differ in how they recognize each member's degree level. The majority of state organizations recognize a Jaycee's degree accomplishments at their state conferences or at their award ceremony. So I have seen many of them done at a district level or regional event, as well as sometimes a chapter function when that member perhaps can't make the larger event. Either way, those members are going to get that public recognition of their accomplishment, which is always fun. Now, what I will tell you is when you reach your 10th degree, you will be recognized to the United States Junior Chamber at one of our national conferences or events. You're probably going to be recognized at the state level, the district level, your region level, your chapter level. But it is awesome to know that nationally, the members of this organization are going to know your name and know that you have completed this program. Oh, and by the way, because this is important to know, there is an app that makes your life even easier when operating this program. It's available on both Androids and iPhones. And all you need to do is go into your app store, and I'm sorry, I don't use Apple, but I think it's still called an app store. And you're going to search for the JCI USA Mobile. This is what it looks like. You're going to see this little green shield with the kind of half swoosh going through it. Download that app. Now, something very important to know. You cannot use that app until you have already developed your Jaycee Member profile on a computer, okay? So you have to have a Jaycee Member login before you can use the JCI mobile app. But this app will function just like the program I have showed you. You check off your task, you hit the submit button, and you are in great shape. Okay? So I am ready to take some questions. Stand by half a second while I try and unmute you guys.
Muted. Unmuted.
Unmute yourself. All right. Rumor has it that you guys can unmute yourself.
Muted.
Unmuted.
Unmuted.
All right. Everybody's unmuted. Anybody? Anybody? All right. Well, I'm not hearing it. So, question. As local president, who approves our submissions for degrees?
Muted.
So, the answer is, while it may not hold as much integrity as it could, you do, in fact, approve your own submission.
Unmuted.
And can you hear me?
Yep.
Apparently, I needed training in webinars. My apologies, guys. So, I am going to go through that question again, just because I don't think you heard me. The question is, as local president, who approves our submissions for degrees? The answer is quite simple. While the integrity is not always there as far as a check and balance system, a local president can approve their own submission of degrees. If it makes you a little queasy, you can always have the state president do it or your state program manager. Okay? Melissa, I see you don't have a mic. That's okay. I think we're all set up that way. Chad, can our COBs sign off? No, not unless your state president gives your chairman of the board the same rights and approval settings that it gives the chapter president. That is something that the pres gets to do. Okay? And yes, state president can also. Okay? What other questions do we got from the general members? Can we submit members for degrees, or is it all on the member? It is all on the member. This program is all about them, and they need to be active and taking part in their own work. I will tell you that if a member does not have internet access, if you go to the usjc.org website, down in their document library, there is, in fact, a sheet that is the same as the task that you see on your screen, that you see on the screen, okay? At that point in time, you fill out that form with some check marks, and that form can actually submit it into the portal. So each of your state organizations would probably accept them a little bit differently. Your best bet would be to check with your state president on where those degree forms should be sent in. How are you getting members excited about this program outside of the values you described? Well, I'm going to tell you, I'm actually a pretty bouncy, interactive person, and I like to tell people my personal story without sounding, well, to be fair, I don't like to sound arrogant about the things that I've done, but what I can tell you is my participation within the Passport program is what got me to a lot of places. I started following the program and got to the little check marks about participating in a competition. And I decided I was going to participate. And I chose public speaking. Let me tell you, I was not a fan. But I had to give it a whirl. Surprisingly enough to me, I ended up winning a local competition in impromptu speak up. That kind of gave me a little bit of confidence. So I went to my state conference where I competed again. And lo and behold, I actually won that too. I learned a couple of tricks. I talked to a couple of mentors who were public speakers and as well within the chapter. And they gave me ideas on how to do better. Well, what was really exciting is when I won the Michigan, because that's where I'm from, the Michigan State Conference for Speak Up, they then invited me to the U.S. National Conference, where I got to compete in both impromptu Speak Up and what's called prepared Speak Up. I ended up having to stand up in front of about, well, when I actually competed, I was in a room of about 35 to 40 people. And again, surprisingly to all of us, especially me, I managed to win. You cannot imagine how excited I was, and I was able to share that. Well, from that, I then also had to stand up in front of the entire national meeting. Sorry, folks, you gotta love computers. I stood up in front of the entire, there we go. Don't buy a Lenovo. I stood up in front of the entire national meeting of about 400 people and had to give that speech again. It was a riot, and it was such a charge. And I look back at the program. The program got me networking with some of my local people. This is what you talk to them about. You ask your members what it is that frightens them. How can you challenge them? And let them know that you are going to be there to help them through it. Okay. Sorry, moving down my question list here. Completing a task. Is it based on the honor system, or does some sort of verification need to be completed or submitted? So, what's actually going to happen, and I'll talk about that in a little bit as we move forward into the presidential part, is your local chapter president must approve each task that has been submitted. So sometimes they may question it. If they question whether or not you've completed that task, they're going to come talk to you about it. You don't have to actually submit anything, all right? Not to the state. You'll be in good shape, but you are answering up to your local president, who, to be fair, knows you best. Just to clarify, you have to complete the degrees in order. For example, you need to finish one before you can start the second. Right. No, that is not true. You can start completing tasks in any degree that you wish, in any order. But in order to be recognized as a specific degree level, you must have completed all the tasks within that degree. So you can complete all of the degree tasks in degree 1 and degree 3, but if you have only completed 2 tasks in second degree, you are not, I repeat, not a third degree JC. You would actually only be a first degree JC. I hope that answers that. And we will move on. I have a question from Jessica asking if the mobile app is free. It most certainly is. Okay, let's see. Okay, oh, Chad left me a big old one here. All right, let's see. I don't necessarily know if you guys can see it, but I want to make sure that in the handout section here, you can see there's a how to report your passport degrees. That specifically tells you how to get into Jaycee Member, how to get signed up, and how to click off on some of your degrees. So that's going to be the handout that you want to hand out. I know, a bit redundant, but to give to all of your members. Okay? Let's see. How do you even compete in a competition? Faith, I love that you asked me that, because now that I've competed, I love doing it. If you check out the usjcs.org website and head down to the document library, you can find all of the competitions in the competition manual. Now, I'm not sure what state you're from, but within your state conferences, they should be holding competitions there. Some of those competitions require that you actually be present at the conference, while others can be submitted online, such as the prepared write-up competition, which is an essay writing competition. I love the competition program, and I shared that for a while too, which there's things in there like interviewing and resume writing and essay writing. There's a ton of these. Okay, that's how the best way to do it. There is also a Facebook page for the, let's see, I believe there's a U.S. JC's competition page. I know that the Michigan JCs have one. If you can't find one under the U.S., I suggest that you search for the MIJC competitions page. That will at least give you an idea of what's going on. Let's see. Will the handout be available after this presentation? Asked Jessica. Absolutely. In fact, not only is it attached to this, it is already on my Facebook group, which is the U.S. Passport to Leadership group. So if you haven't had the opportunity to join that group, please do. My goal is to add some different tips and some different project ideas. Okay. Okay, so you can see you're in Minnesota, and I'm not necessarily sure what the issue might have been as far as why you weren't able to participate. That might be something that you would want to direct to your competitions chair, or perhaps your state president, whose name is Josh Regan, or perhaps Reagan. So you would most likely reach him at mn@usjc.org, mn@usjc.org. All right. All right. Do we have any more questions that are based on the general member and perhaps how this program works? Giving you guys a second. I think once you take the time to go through the program and see what the tasks are that are involved, you're going to see why it's so easy to get people involved. One of the tasks includes leading a training. Many of you, well, all of you actually, just get to check off one of your tasks, because one of them includes attending a webinar by the USJC. So find that, I believe it's 4 or 5, but I'm not sure off the top of my head. Okay? All right, I'm not seeing any more questions here, so I'm going to start going through a little bit of the president stuff. Don't worry, I will check back in. So let's talk about the chapter president. Here it is. Your job in Passport is to encourage your members to participate and offer guidance on how to complete their tasks. Some people are not necessarily sure who counts as a city official or a township official. They don't necessarily know what being an active citizen is, because once you get down to 7 and 8, you have to look at your community and discover a problem within the community and develop an active citizen project that addresses that particular issue that you see. As president, you might have to help some of your members out in what that means. And as we mentioned earlier, you must also approve each task. You must approve each task that is submitted by one of your members to ensure the integrity of the program. So, for you presidents that are out there, you have an entirely different local Jaycee member page when you sign in. If you take a look down here, this is what you're going to see. Down on your bottom right, you're going to see the Passport approval button. Give that one a click. If you have tasks that are waiting to be approved, it is going to look like this. All right, it is going to show your member's name. It is going to show what level degree the task is involved in, and it's going to explain what the particular task is. You've got your approve and not approve buttons on the left side. This is where you have to decide whether or not you believe that they actually accomplished them. If you agree that they did actually complete that task, hit the approve button, and it is immediate. The second you hit approve, bang, it shows up in your member's profile as having been completed. If you are questioning whether or not that member has completed the submitted task, ask them to explain to you how they accomplished that task. If you still disagree, you can hit the not approve button, and it'll show back up in their member profile as something that still needs to be completed. Now, what I would recommend is when you look at this program and the tasks that are in the program, use your best judgment. Some of them can, in fact, be a little flexible, be in a little tweaked if you need them to be. One of the tasks says to specifically write down the names of 10 individuals that you think are good Jaycee quality people in an attempt to recruit those people, and they're supposed to write that list down and hand it to you. Well, let's be fair. If you sit down and have a conversation with your member and they start telling you, hey, about these people I work with or these people on my basketball team, and I think we should do this, or maybe we should reach out to these people, to me, they've accomplished that task. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of up to you a little bit to show some flexibility. Okay? And as we also mentioned, or actually I don't know if I mentioned it yet, you can do all of your task approvals also from that JCI USA mobile app. Huge. When you talk about how you can motivate your members, Remember I talked about how it sends a ding every single time that you have a task to approve? Encourage them to blow up your phone. Tell them that you want to hear your phone dinging mercilessly, and it gives them something to do. It makes it a challenge. It makes it a game, and your members enjoy that. So, if you want to know what's going on with all of the members in your roster, as a local chapter president, you can do this too, okay? Down at the bottom right hand of the president's profile, you're going to see the Passport Summary Report button. Right there that the little black arrow is pointed at. Give it a click, and you're going to see your entire roster. But their names are going to come up with these little X's and all these numbers. What this represents, if you were to count all the way across, the X's and numbers actually account for all 10 degree levels. The X means that degree level is completed. Under the example of Katie Feaston, you're going to see that she's completed first, second, and third degree. Under fourth degree, she's completed 4 of the 5 tasks. Under fifth degree, 4 of the 5 tasks. Sixth degree, 3 of the 5 tasks, etc., etc. Okay? Oops, sorry about that. Trying to move down. Now, if you look under Stephanie Johnson, this goes back to the question about what degree each individual is. As you can see here, she's completed first and second degree, 4 tasks in third degree, all of the tasks in fourth degree, 4 of the tasks in fifth degree, and all of the tasks in sixth degree. Well, and it's great that she's accomplished all of those tasks, but Stephanie Johnson is still only a second degree JC until she completes those last tasks in the other degree level. You can also see that she last submitted a task for approval in August of 2014. So what that means is technically she is going to have to go back and complete all of the tasks in third degree another time because it won't have been within the same year. Okay? So, as far as completing of the degrees, for state presidents or program managers, in the document library of the USJC's website, you are going to find that there is a template for each degree. It's up to you if you want to use those or if you want to develop your own. I know many of the states have their own particular template that they use to issue degrees. Again, from Michigan, where I was at, we actually changed the degree to represent the presidential medallion each year that's on there. It's just kind of fun for the members to know under which president they completed their degree. As a state program manager, you will be able to see the entire list by chapter of everyone who has completed their degrees, where they have those marks. It's going to be up to you to make sure that you are actually getting the members the recognition they need. As the state program manager, I suggest that you start reaching out to your local presidents now. What I did as a program manager at the state level is I would go through my own checklist to see which degrees I believe members had reached. So before my state conference, I would develop a list for each chapter of who I thought was getting what degree. I would then send my list to the local president and have them confirm that they agreed with the degrees that I had. Sometimes I miss them. For those that are involved in a larger state, that particular report is very, very long. Local presidents, please have patience with your state program managers and your state presidents. They are going to miss something. Make sure that you are confirming your members' degrees with your state president or state program manager before your conference or before the event where recognition is going to be. We want to make sure everybody gets that opportunity to be recognized, but sometimes they need a little help. Okay? When a member has accomplished their 10th degree JC, we need to make sure that you notify the U.S. program manager as soon as possible, otherwise known as me. I need to know all of the 10th degrees so that I can make sure that I get your membership the recognition that they need and that they deserve. Because let me tell you, not everyone can become a 10th degree JC. Everyone has the opportunity, but not everybody has the drive. And it is so hugely important to give them that recognition. All right, let's see here. Yes, see, we just kind of talked about that. By participating in the Passport Civic Leadership Program, each JC is afforded the opportunity to reach their highest potential and see the value of membership in their JC chapter. That's something we always hear about. Why should I be a JC? Why should I pay dues? What are all of these things and why is it necessary? This program is something that you can show to each of your members and prove to them why they should be a JC and what they are getting out of it. I will tell you, I have personally used the Passport to Leadership program as a recruiting tool. I have taken it into a few of the local businesses within my community, and I have shown the task list to some of the managers and the bosses within that business. I show them that if their employees become members in the JCs and they are willing to work towards these goals, these are the areas that we can help show professional improvement. It works. Print out some copies, take it out there, give it a whirl. It certainly can't hurt for those of us that need to get a few stronger professionals in our group. And one of our favorite sayings from one of my local chapters here in Redford, Michigan is membership has benefits. Please feel free to steal that motto. I love it. Okay. All right. We are back on questions, and I have an Apple question here. I know before they said the app wasn't available to Apple users back in the middle of January. I have loaded it. However, it doesn't show the tasks I have completed in Passport. Does it still need some tweaking? Can you see it? I'm talking to my Apple using partner over here. And he is trying to log in, so give me half a second here. As I mentioned before, Jaycee Member always needs tweaking. It wouldn't surprise me if the Apple does. All right, let's see here. As we are checking some of that, I had another question pop up that asked me what percentage of JCs attain the 10th degree. I am going to be completely honest with you and tell you that I don't know the exact percentage. I can say that in Michigan, at this last state conference that I just attended over the weekend, we only had one person attain the 10th degree. In my local chapter, we have 4 to 5 10th degrees that I can name right now. It is, I would say, if I had to guess, maybe around 10 to 15%, because it requires an awful lot of dedication to make it all the way to the 10th degree. All right. I haven't forgotten the Apple question. We're still trying to figure it out. My problem is that my partner over here with the Apple is a 10th degree, so it is showing all the tasks that have been completed, but not necessarily any that still need to be completed.
So, to answer, can you guys hear me? To answer your question, when I first went to the app, I saw all of the open tabs. When you click on the Passport button, at the very top, you'll see a login button. You'll have to log in, and then it will show you all of your results and whether or not you have tasks that are incomplete.
Does that make sense, guys? Because I didn't realize that was the question that was being asked, because that works the same for an Android user. When you first click the mobile app in order to open it, you are not officially logged in, and it just shows you a bunch of empty tasks, and it just shows you the list. Ah, Faith, it looks like you got it, okay? Yes, you have to log in individually. Thanks, Jay. I'm glad he speaks Apple. All right. Let's see, we did that. Our chapter has 130 plus members. Can the president share admin responsibilities for the program with an internal or membership VP? That is a question that would need to be addressed to your state president and your state board. They are the only ones that have the authority to actually give approval rights to different board members. I'm liable to say he's going to say no. That's or she. Just because they like to keep that responsibility and that access limited. But it never hurts to ask. They most certainly can try. All right, when I logged in, I don't see a Passport to Civic Leadership task approval link under the useful link. What should I do to make sure that I have access to the approval? That's a valid question. Send me a personal email to the passport@usjcs.org. I'm going to see what you have as far as what I can see. The next step would be contacting your state president to make sure that he has given you that access. Okay? That is assuming that you are not in fact a state president, since I don't know. If you are in fact a state president, then we need to go up higher up the food chain, so you definitely need to send me an email. What if the chapter president does not approve the task by a member before the end of the year? Would the individual need to redo all of the tasks for that degree the following year? The technical answer is yes, because they have to be completed and submitted within the same year. Having said that, your chapter president should be on top of it. If you're having some issues with that, let me know. I cannot even fathom a chapter president not signing on to Jaycee Member in an entire year and hitting the approval button. If for no other reason, it makes them look good for you to complete your task and your degree. In that case, Chad, sorry, I'm answering your question. In the case of having the 130-member chapter, what do you recommend for managing passports for larger 100-plus member chapters? Well, the first thing I say is, what a problem to have. Good for you, sir. It actually is not that difficult. I guess what I would say is, if you have questions about whether or not an individual member has actually completed a task, double check with your internal VP. I know it's hard for you to know every single member. Some of them include attending 50% of your general membership meetings. That can be done just by double checking your sign-in sheet. A lot of it is participating in a committee on a chapter event, leading a chapter event. I'm quite certain that even if you don't know everybody, if they are leading a training, you are going to know. But I would work together. That might be something that like I said, that might be something that you kind of lean on your VPs for. Shoot me an email, and we'll see if there's some other issues. You can also set up some of your own internal checks and balances. If you want to, oh, that's a good idea. My partner's over here scribbling notes to me. Remember that sheet that I told you was on the USJC's website in the document library for those people that don't have internet access? You can have your individual members check off all of their tasks on the website, but then they would have to complete the handwritten task sheet, and you could have your VP sign off on the handwritten one, at which point in time you would know if you could check them off or approve them within the app or within Jaycee Member. Does that make sense? Perfect. Glad that worked for you, Chad. He said it does. What other questions, what other ideas can I shoot your way? Any other thoughts? Oh, crickets. No, crickets at this point of the program is not a bad thing. It means I think I might have answered all of your questions. I like it. Perfect. So what we see on our slide now is all of my contact information. Yes, that is my cell phone. I am in Michigan, so please use that accordingly. If I don't answer you, I apologize, but I will get back with you. I am always reachable by email because, like many of us, my email goes straight to my phone and blows my phone up. always a plus. I have text messaging on that cell phone. It's unlimited, so please feel free. And I would love to help you out in any way I can. This entire webinar is, in fact, being recorded and will be available soon if you would like to share it with your membership or with anyone else. I will do my best to make this PowerPoint available. I think the best way I'm going to be able to do that is on the Facebook page or the Facebook group that I have created, the U.S. Jaycee Task Force of Leadership. Take a look for it. You'll find me. I will do my best to get that up there, maybe even tonight. If not, I'll have it up by tomorrow. So that'll at least be the PowerPoint for you. That handout, I hope you guys have been able to access. It is attached to this webinar. If not, that is already on the Facebook page. Or I could use a Dropbox if that is easier than Facebook. Thank you, Jessica. I may try and set up a Dropbox link so that we can get to it. It's actually already in Dropbox, so I'll find a way to make it public. I like it. Any other thoughts? I love the techno suggestions. It's not my forte. Any other questions? Going once? Going twice? All right. Looks like it might be time for me to wrap that up. I would like to thank all of you for getting involved and hopping on this webinar with me. And yes, Jessica, I'm excited to get some new members involved. You have no idea how much fun I have doing this particular program. It's for those of you that are, in fact, program managers or state presidents. Take just 5 minutes of your time to bounce around to the different chapter meetings. Get excited. Talk about this program. People love to check off boxes. They love checklists, and they love to improve themselves, and that's what this program is about. So thank you for participating, and I will talk to everyone soon. Please feel free to drop me a note, a call, an email, a text. I am at your service. Have a great night.